Disco here, back in the Yak-52. The Yak got a update midweek, and I was on travel to go do some business with the FAA. And so today's my first chance to get back in the airplane and see how this flight model improvement has played out. Thought it would be fun to spend a little bit of time with spins and aerobatics out here over Lake Mead today. It's been a previous request, so we'll do a show controls. I don't know if that'll show real nicely in my the particular way that I record, so we'll see how it goes. But I thought we'd start off maybe with an aggravated spin, which is a spin with power on and with outspin aileron, and so we'll see if that's improved from the first time. Show controls. Alright, so at least it's there. Alright, so we're going to trim for basically level flight here as best we can. Of course, rudder trim is still not correct, but kind of growing used to dealing with that. Alright, so what we'll do here is actually we'll do this one with power out. So there's power out. Right, we're just slowing down. I'm going to let this one, I think, torque off to the right, which my Yak actually prefers the right just a little bit. Alright, so stick's full back and the rudder's full in. So, little transitory and very fast. Now if you watch, I'm going to go outspin aileron, and you see how it's actually slowing the roll rate down and flattened it. Alright, we're really coming downhill, so we're going to go ahead and recover. That was a huge loss of altitude there. So anyway, the spin rate there was way too fast for a non-flat spin. That was probably on the order of about, I'm going to say maybe 50% too fast. Center. It did finally stabilize though, as far as the nose down goes, and that's a real improvement. So to speed this up, we'll go escape. It won't do a reset, so we'll have to climb back up. Damn. So anyway, while we're climbing back up, you can see we got almost 5 Gs and about 1.5 negative on that. The oscillatory nature of the incipient phase seems to be pretty close to my recollection. I haven't done a dedicated spin series in my airplane for a little while now, but and I will just because of the interest that these videos have generated. The first review video has over 10,000 views, so I really appreciate that. That was completely unexpected. Alright, so next we'll actually do a full-on flat spin. And so the flat spin you enter from a botched hammerhead. So we'll climb back up to around 2,700 meters. It's about 8,000 feet. And So what we'll do is from about 220 kph, we'll pull up into a hammerhead, and then we'll deliberately spoil it into a flat spin. And to be honest, the spin we just did, which was just an aggravated outspin, power off, upright spin, felt a lot like and looked a lot like a flat spin looks in the airplane. So, you know, here we are. We're solo today, and thanks to ED for making that possible. So we're solo today, and see, you know, here as we're coming up on 8,000 feet, starting to run out of a little smash. But the airplane's still climbing pretty good. You know, I'm letting the nose down a little bit. I try and keep it closer to about 160 kph for the climb, but still showing 3 meters a second, which is almost 600 feet a minute at 8,000 feet, and over the desert where it's nice and warm. So, all right, so there's our altitude. Gonna come back around towards the dam there, and then we'll dive down just a little bit. Get enough smash for the hammerhead entry, and then we'll spoil that into a flat spin. So flat spins are power on as well, and can be pretty interesting. Interesting thing about the Yak, it will spin both directions really pretty well. It doesn't seem to care that much. Alright, so hammerheads, we're going to do a wings level about a 4G. Get up to vertical, and there's the kick. Now we're just pulling the stick all the way back. We're just going to hold this and let it flop into the flat spin. So the nose is low, it's fighting us way too much. The rate is about right. And we're really coming downhill. Alright, so so that was actually seemed fairly close to my my recollection of the flat spin. And I've posted, I think, already a video link to some flat spin work that I did with a former DOSAF instructor, Gennady Elfimov, who's a fantastic instructor, by the way. If you ever have the real-world opportunity to fly with Genna, you should absolutely avail yourself of it. Something like 5,000 or 6,000 hours in the Yak-52 alone. A lot of time as a air show competition pilot, and is genuinely a great guy as well. Alright, so I said they improved the inverted stick authority, so let's see if we can get an inverted departure. Now, in my airplane, I do not need to do nose-up trim. I just push. So once again, we'll try this. The other thing, of course, is that because the airplane has about a half a degree of dehedral, it does not have a roll-off tendency. Once your wings level inverted, it will stay there with very little extra help. Alright, so once we're up to about 2,500 meters here, I think. That's good. Alright, we'll accelerate out a little bit so we can roll out, or roll inverted. Alright, so there's the inverted. Alright, so once again, I think they know that that stumble should not be present at all. The airplane seems pretty easy to maintain maintain level. Actually, we're climbing a little bit, so that's got some promise. Now let's see what happens as the power comes off. So power's coming out, power's coming out, power's coming out. It's getting a little tougher to stay wings level. Alright, so I am stick all the way in. All the way in's not enough. I'm putting nose up trim. Nose up trim's all the way in. And still not enough. And now it wants to roll off to one side or the other. That is not realistic. So clearly still can't do an inverted spin entry. That's too bad. Inverted spin work's actually a lot of fun. Alright, so inverted spin still not possible. Let's go ahead and let's do a non-spoiled hammerhead. My initial work with the airplane shows that it hammers pretty well if you get the speed right. So with two people, your vertical upline is actually pretty long. It's about 7 seconds. So we'll have plenty of altitude here, so we're going to accelerate out in level flight, see how fast the airplane will go. Should get us to a little over 250. Then we'll dive down. We're going to look for about 300 kph as our entry speed. With the airplane basically trimmed level. Alright, there we go. Alright, so a little push over, pick up some speed. Again, the speed is still a little too fast. It picks up speed a little too fast. Alright, so there's a wings level, about a 4G pull to the vertical. The vertical is 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Little left rudder and stab. Probably should do this over the land where we got better references. But that actually felt really pretty good. Very nice. So again, on the hammerhead, it's about a 7 count once you establish the upline. The pitot tube is your straight line reference. So you put it 90 degrees to the ground. That's your vertical reference. You should, and I did not, you should check left and right wingtips to make sure that your wing's level on the way up, if your terrain supports that. Now, here in Nevada, we don't really get that because we have mountains on either side, so it's a little tougher. Key is just to have a good wings level pull, and then you start adding in left rudder as you slow down going up. And when you start to pivot, you actually need some out rotation aileron. That's left aileron, and what that does is the left aileron is going to move faster and generate more lift, and if you don't do the outspin, it's going to flop over the top on you. And that's actually how some people end up in actual flat spins, is they don't arrest that, and then it tries to pull into either a spiral dive or a flat spin, depending on what you're doing with the elevator. Alright, so let's do one more of those. Sure wish I knew how to make the smoke work on this thing. I looked through the manual and didn't see anything. Got the switch, but don't seem to see any smoke. Alright, so we'll dive down for speed. There's 300. So coordinated wings level, about 4 Gs. Right, there's the vertical. 2, 3, 4, and kick. That's a little early, but not too bad. And stop it. Let it accelerate a little bit. There's 200. Basically pull almost full stick there if you want. Go right up and do another one if you're so inclined. Kick. that one you see rotated on us a little more. Straight down, dragging the right wing. Slow ballistic roll there. Alright, so last thing I think we'll touch on today is we'll do a barrel roll, which is always a really fun maneuver, but it actually takes a lot more thought than you think. Kind of get heading back towards Henderson here. The barrel roll can actually be done from about 250 clicks, but the more speed you have, obviously, the bigger it can be. So we'll put the nose down a little bit. So a competition barrel roll, or a display barrel roll, so you get about 300. Nose is coming up, and now we start the roll. A little bit of rudder for coordination over the top. Speed the rotation up a little bit, and then slowly recover. So that's more of an air show barrel roll when you've got two guys on the wing and you're trying to bring them back. Alright, so I'm going to take a look, see if this video is any good for you guys. If it is, I'll post it up. If it's not, I will record it again. Disco out. Escape.